Looks like we got a hint of Sakamoto's training. It's finally time to see Unk. What's up, guys? I'm Pencil here, and here to do a breakdown / live reaction and review to chapter 180 of Sakamoto Days, which is known as I Know Someone. And I'm intrigued. Obviously, last chapter had to deal with Sakamoto getting absolutely, I'm not gonna say dominated, like technically, I mean kinda sorta. He basically did no damage to Torres, and then Torres let him off very specifically because he wasn't trying to off Sakamoto. Sort of hard locking in a fact that a lot of people have been theorizing for a while, that current Sakamoto, even in his slim state, isn't really an order tier fighter, which, you know, I was fighting back a little bit against, but after the Kanaguri fight, after the Torres fight, and just a general lack of scaling to anyone who is order tier outside of Takamura, who was likely suppressed based on how he's dealing with Nagamoto and Sakamoto, that's kind of crazy. But of course, you know, I'm real excited to see Unk get down and dirty with it. He's probably training Heisuke and Shin, so you know I'm excited. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Heading me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. It ain't another fun fact. Don't just love Unk. I don't know. I haven't met a single. But then again, I haven't talked with too many people about Sakamoto Days. I know some people I need to talk to about it because I put them on. But I've met no one who really dislikes Kandaka. Because Unk is just cool. He's just clean with it. He's just clean with it. And I can't wait to see how clean he gets with it. Though I wonder, the chapter title is intriguing. Unless he's probably going to send one of them off. He's probably going to send one of them off and be like, okay, I'll train you specifically. But then again, at the same time, I'm not exactly sure, outside of just fighting with them, once again, with what's happening with Sakamoto in the order, how does he exactly train Shin and specifically Heisuke? I mean, as far as I can tell, Kandaka's a hands-on fighter, meaning outside of, I guess, being a very fast-moving target, he wouldn't really be the best master for Heisuke. But at the same time, Shin just has really unique abilities. Like, he's actually just a psychic user. Unk seemingly has extrasensory perception to a degree. Like, he sensed that Shin tried to send a mental command at him and dodged. So, like, he has some sort of mental prowess, but still, I'm interested to see how he's going to train both of them. So let's see what happens in chapter 180 of Sakamoto Days. I Know Someone. Let's see. Post it up, hands in pockets. It does not look like he aged, but I think it's because he's shaved down. And obviously, you know, once again, I don't actually know how old Kandaka's supposed to be. Yotsumura visibly aged, but even then, now I think about it, not too much. So it's only been 8 years. I'm actually not too shocked that Kandaka still looks so young, especially with the sunglasses on and everything. And he's probably cleaned up a bit from when he first woke up, got a little bit more back in shape. Though really the time period from when Kandaka first woke up and when he sent Sakamoto off on his training arc is a little bit vague, but still, let's see. Based on the fact that this is a foot, I'm going to assume it's You know who else needs training? Lou! Suzuki-sensei! When are you going to reincorporate them back into the narrative? It's getting ludicrous at this point. That's what I did there. Ludicrous. But it is getting ludicrous at this point. I swear. When was the last time she fought? I swear it was against that guy with the axe. And I think that's literally like 100 chapters ago. Why? I don't know. And like, this is going to sound bad. It's going to sound awful. It's going to sound horrible. But like, we low-key do have a person in the order for her to fight. Kumanomi. But then again, that's the thing. With Gaku gone, and Haruma's presumably gone, like, I'm going to say Haruma gone because he was literally bisected, and Gaku presumably gone, he was only pierced through the heart. I say only, but hey, I don't trust it. And we do have those 2 new order members, so I'm presuming they're going to be antagonists specifically for Shin and Heisuke. I mean, female main character on the good guy side, or female protagonist, female antagonist. Tell me it ain't cook, but still, I don't know. I do want Lou back, because it feels like now she's kind of just there as set dressing. Especially considering Heisuke was recently relevant to the narrative in order to get them into the museum arc, and Shin's, he's our deuteragonist, so like he's always going to be relevant. But, I don't know, man. Like, don't, please. And like, I'm not even sure if it's from a lack of, like, love for the character. At least from what I see in the fandom, a lot of people also want Lou back, for one. And for two, I think she does fine on the popularity polls, even though she literally hasn't done anything in like years. Like, in manga release years. I know it's not even been a year in universe, but like, in manga release years, she hasn't done anything. And like, when did the International Assassins arc come out? I think the 50s. So that's over nearly 100 chapters ago? And that's like at bare minimum. I know Suzuki Sensei takes no breaks, but even then, I think they are forced to release around like 48 chapters a year, because I think there are only 4 breaks yearly that are mandatory. And I know Suzuki Sensei really recently took 1 break, so I don't know. I'm kind of concerned for homegirl, but let's see. Hopefully she gets some training from somebody. The weave, immaculate. Though once again, I guess just because you can feel it, right? Like, notably, I'm not a trained fighter, but I do know some people who are trained fighters, and they always claim, like, you get the feeling, like, have you ever been looked at? Or feel like you've been looked at, and you turn and you actually do see someone looking at you? It's not a feeling you can really explain. Like, eyes don't put pressure on people, but sometimes you can just feel it. You can feel like you're being watched, and then you turn, and, like, half the time, there's actually no one there. You're just being paranoid, or at least that's how it is for me sometimes. But sometimes you turn, and you're like, you lock eyes with somebody, which does clearly imply they were looking at you. A lot of the people who I know, like, I know a boxer, and I know someone who does MMA. Both of them claim consistently that even if they're not directly looking at somebody, they can kind of feel when they're about to be attacked. I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming that's like the extreme version of this, where it's not like peripheral vision, it's not anything. Shin came from right out of nowhere, and Kandaka with no extracurricular powers and no power system to like sense Shin coming for him, still just perfectly weaved. Let's see. The look back. Darn Shin, how you getting 1 arm, bro? He open palm and you. Of course, though, Shin. And it's weird, right? Because, like, Shin did well against Haruma, but, like, he did well against Haruma. And if you're just listening to the video and not watching it, I'm putting up heavy quotation marks around did well, because Haruma was clearly holding back throughout a lot of their fight. But Shin, he's been getting stronger. He's definitely been getting stronger, and especially with his new abilities, which is like he's about to use, I can definitely see Shin being a top tier. Maybe not a god tier. Once again, since he's the deuteragonist, I don't ever see him really being like a god tier, like a prime Sakamoto, Takamura personality Uzuki. Like, I think that tier is going to be exclusive for literally those 3 characters, unless Suzuki Sensei decides to go absolutely crazy with the scaling and introduce multiple characters even stronger than that. I'm assuming they're going to be the exclusive god tiers, but Shin, who's pretty much a pretty solid mid tier right now, I could see him by EOS being a really high tier, like maybe possibly top 5 strongest characters in the series, considering his abilities seemingly kind of have no limits in terms of their expansion and whatever Suzuki Sensei wants to do with them. Let's see. He activates the future sight. Up, weave of Kandaka. Oh, he undid his shoes. Ah, that's a unique way to do it. And I guess that's the thing, right? You always got to work on the idea that anything can be used. Like, I don't fight, but I do play fighting games. And there's some times where the most random interaction, if it takes your attention away from something that you're doing, will break it. Like, for example, there's a time recently where I was playing with one of my friends on Fighters. We were all sitting on the couch, and someone came in the room and asked if we wanted something to eat. I turned for half a second. I turned back to the screen. My character was dead. I had like 50%. I don't even know what combo he did in that time span, but I was dead. It wasn't a level 3. I would have heard the level 3. It was just a combo. He won that round, naturally. But that's the thing. All it takes is half a second, and that's like a fighting game. In real life, or in manga, essentially, half a second of distraction is caused by like the untying of your shoe could be pretty lethal. And it looks like they're genuinely ganking, bro. But, hey, Suke, what are you about to use? Are you about to aim for Bro's dome piece with a real Spagooter? Let's see. Yes! Just as planned. Ooh. The weave is immaculate. Oh, barefoot too? Nasty. Put them dogs away. I'm Daka. For free? For free? You want to talk about playing Nagumo back? You really want to talk about playing Nagumo back? Put them things online, dog. Put them things online. You make real money real quick. Trust me. Let's see. Okay, at least he didn't get kicked with a barefoot. And like, I know some people are in defeat. I'm more power to you. I can't act like I'm just normal either. But even then, I can't, because so many people. That's the thing. Now, being in defeat. This just sounds so strange. Hey, welcome to That Guy with a Pencil. We're not a child-friendly channel for the most part. No, I always put it on all my videos. None of my videos are for kids. But it's become so common that now I think I'm not normal. Like, I know so many people personally, and especially online, who are into feet. Like, there's a whole industry around it. Like, selling feet pics. Like, that's a thing. So, like, is it really... And that's a question. It's a random question for y'all. Well, this is one of the many questions I ask in videos that I'm actually... I mean, you can answer. And let me know. Because that's the fun of having comments. But, like... Has it now become normal? Or is it still... like, is it just part of the cultural zeitgeist now? Like, you like feet. And that's, like... That's not a crazy thing to say. Like, you could open up. And, like, that's a discussion point. And, like, you could have an actual, like, foot discussion. Like... Is that normal, or is that still just out of the social purview that if you were to say that, even like a group of friends or something like that, they look at you funny? Low Kizzle? I kind of think it's in the I kind of think it's in the cultural zeitgeist at this point. But let me know. Well, let's see. Boom. Shin! Dog got laid out. Huh? Where'd he go? But see, this is why I love speedsters. I'll be completely honest. It's literally for the fact that half the time you don't even have to show them. They just appear. And that's kind of, it kind of feeds into my preference. Like, notably, if someone were to ask me, despite how much I love speedsters, what superpower would you like to have personally? You'd only have one. It'll work perfectly like you would exactly imagine it would, not with any weird, creepy drawbacks. Teleportation. I know teleportation doesn't necessarily work because we are in a constantly moving universe, so even if I were to think on a previous memory of where I was previously, Earth is hurtling through space at like hundreds of millions of miles per hour. We just can't feel it because we're adjusted to it. And then the solar system is hurling, and then the whole galaxy is moving. It's like, there's no way teleportation would work, at least conventionally. You would have to specifically work with geographic coordinates in your head. Like, it'd be super duper complicated, but that's the ability I would want. And speedsters are kind of like bootleg teleportation. Because where did he go? Bro wasn't even on the ground the last he saw of him. Yet somehow Kandaka's immediately behind him. Because he's counting. Let's see. Boy, stop! He knocked both of them down. Golly. You're still no match for me, you dumb punks. Darn it! They really come a long way in a short time. Maybe they have potential from the start. I mean, you acknowledge that. Why of all... Fun fact, there's like a 25% chance whenever I sit down to record, I can go the entire day not having hiccups. 25% chance. Or like, let's to go fully with the reference, it's like Hurricane from Pokemon. 70% chance, I don't get it. But there's that 30%, and if you know Pokemon, that 30% might as well be 99.99999% of the time whenever you're landing Hurricane, Focus Blast, or any 70% accuracy move. I'll just get hiccups. I have them right now. I'm going to keep talking and hope they don't affect me too much, but it's going to happen. Let's see. Maybe they have the potential from the start. Or maybe Sakamoto's toughened them up. Okay. So he's like, were they always like this? Were they always built like this? Or are they just... Or did Sakamoto do it? I'd say Heisuke is kind of raw. Like, notably, Sakamoto never really trained Heisuke in particular. And didn't really expose Heisuke to, like... No, I'm pronouncing that wrong, too. Hold on, I'm so sorry. Someone corrected me in a previous video. Let me see if I can go find that comment. No, I say Heisuke. Someone mentioned it's pronounced like Sasuke. Heisuke. Heisuke? I think it's Heisuke. Not Heisuke. I think it's Heisuke. I'm gonna, because I forget which review it's on, and it's not, like, I could go to the playlist, so I have to start clicking on the videos, and I mess up the viewer. So, like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say Heisuke from this point on, because I remember someone specifically corrected me on that. It's Heisuke. Like, because they said, I remember the comment specifically said, it's like Sasuke, not, I forget the other character they said it was comparable to, but it's Heisuke, not Heisuke. I think it's Heisuke, not Hisuke. Could be Hisuke, but I'm gonna go with Heisuke. Once again, I'm sorry if that same person is here. Please correct me again. Anytime I'm mispronouncing something, please correct me. Trust me, I'm bad at responding to comments because there's so many of them. I'm really busy. But that aside, I do want to make sure I'm saying things correctly because I also dislike when things are pronounced weird. I sometimes clicked off entire videos because someone was saying something wrong. I get it. Trust me. So, please keep correcting me. I'm going to say Heisuke from this point on. I've been saying Heisuke for so long that it'll probably slip out occasionally. I'm going to try and pronounce it correctly. But, like I was saying, I think Heisuke is mostly raw. Like, I think bro was just built different. Like, to the point where Amane was like... Speaking of which, where is Amane? But, to the point where I think he went back to the school. I forget. Gosh darn it. So many plot point detail. That's what happens when you review so many manga at once. Like, there's a bunch of information that I usually keep, but it gets lost sometimes. But, like Amane mentioned, Heisuke is a legend. Like, he's just a dude that everyone knows was really, really good. And realistically, the only encounters he had was the one with Hyo, which was entirely organic, even though that was meant to be completely inorganic when they initially were traveling to Korea, I do believe. And the recent battle with Kamihite. Or Kamihate. Kamihate? That was another name I was pronouncing wrong. The sniper guy. But essentially, those are like the two big encounters I think of. And obviously the initial encounter with Sakamoto. But I'd say out of all characters so far, I mean, next to Lou, I'd say Heisuke is like the most innately talented. While Shin, he's kind of just been going through it. Dude, he's been having to do the right problems. That man's been fighting hard since the start of the series. He's been fighting hard since chapter 1. Let's see. One more time. Nah, that's the best you got. I mean, to a degree, right? Like, notably, I always say it like this. Sometimes, like, I learned fighters by my friend handing me a controller and beating the taste out of me for like 5 hours straight. He was just like, get good. And he didn't really explain anything. And eventually I got it. Was it the most efficient way for me to learn? Kinda, sorta. However, I'll admit, my skill actually increased when I started playing online against people who were actually on my level. I actually have to play the game, and I just get absolutely body bagged and occasionally watch him do things on the controller and be like, okay, this is how I do that. And ask questions. And I think the same thing applies here in this scenario. Ultimately, Kandaka's just a bit too strong. It's kind of like, yeah, sure, I could hand somebody a controller on my level 1 file of KH2 and put them up against Zemnis, Final Zemnis, or the Lingering Wolf and feeling extra mean and be like, yeah, just play, mash the buttons, you'll figure it out eventually. Yeah, they will, but you would want to put them up against someone who's more their level, I'd say. Like, legitimately speaking, start them on a new game file. They've never played Kingdom Hearts before. Or to actually teach them how to play the fighting game instead of just beating them up. But that's the thing with Kandaka here. He knows, like, ultimately, I can't really train you guys. The gap is still too large, which I think is good. I think it's good, especially considering Shin has recently been getting a lot of hype ever since his fight with Haruma. People are starting to say, he may be sub-order tier. And I'm like, yeah, sub-order tier. Like, sub-order tier. Like, he's clearly nowhere near the level of Sakamoto, and as was recently established by the fight against Torres, he's not even really order level. Or Sakamoto isn't order level. So, Sakamoto's already sub-order level. And I think Sakamoto, Big Moto, and Shin are likely either at the same level, if Shin not still being something behind that guy, who's not even Sakamoto level, who's not even order level. So, Haruma was holding back a lot, and was very clearly messing around, and was actively nerfing himself with his whole play game mentality. And Shin got some lucky hits in. So Shin not being anywhere near that level, good confirmation. Heisuke not being anywhere near that level, also very good. Let's see. Huh? What? Didn't you hear me? What? Didn't you hear me? I'm saying you're at your physical limit. Oh! What does that mean? What kind of nonsense is that? Easy, kid. I'm not dissing you. I'm saying you're doing a good job with what you got. But honestly, some physical traits like mass and size are just inborn. With your frame, you can train your whole life. You'll never be a match for me or Sakamoto or the Order. Look, I mean, kind of, it's hard, honestly. Dare I say he's absolutely right, even in terms of real life. I mean, who knows? I'd say confidently that I do have good genetics. I look at my parents, I look at my blood line, and I'm like, probably should have worked out more. And I still need to plan to work out. Or I do plan to work out more. But like, I could probably have trained all my life and I would never be as good of a sprinter as Usain Bolt. Fun fact that they track, that's where the link comes from. I love swimming. Could never be anywhere near as fast as Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, any Olympic swimmer. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't. I will know it'll be hard to find a human being that is as skilled at gymnastics as Simone Biles. It's just hard. It is basically impossible. Sometimes because you're literally born different. That's why I like, as much as I like the idea that all human life has value, I do fundamentally believe in the commonly stated ideal that all life is not created equal. All men are not created equal. Men, women, anybody. We're not created equal. Some people are just born taller, born stronger, born faster, born with better physical builds. One of my best friends is approximately 5 foot tall. She could train for every day of her life and then probably couldn't beat up current me. Not to talk of prime me. Not to talk of future prime me. Current me. If she trained for 30 years straight because she's 5 foot tall and I've seen this woman put away more food than I have. Like, legitimately, I've seen her eat out an entire tray of breakfast food. And I may wonder, what do you mean an entire tray? I mean, like, have you ever gone to an all-you-can-eat buffet and they have the bacon in one tray and they have the eggs in one tray and they have the pancakes and the waffles? I've seen this woman eat pancakes, bacon, and eggs all at once, the entire trays, and not gain a singular pound. Her metabolism is that insane. And thusly, she really struggles with putting on muscle mass. She works out consistently. Literally still skin and bones. Some people are just built like that. And ultimately, I understand what Kandaka's meaning here. Like, oh, you kind of just not built like that. You ain't built like that for real. But let's see what he's going to do to get around that. Kandaka, that was harsh. But it's true. You're trying too hard to be like Sakamoto. I mean, yeah. That's his only mentor. You got your own talents. Huh? You should be training your ESP. Oh, so he does. Oh, so he just flat out knows. Huh? You can read minds. Plus, you can see a few seconds into the future. You can overwrite your opponent's thoughts momentarily. There was a lot you could have done with your ESP just now. Why don't you use it more? So this is just well, I guess because Shin has it, and they were experimenting on making Shin. But I guess there are just more psychics in verse. So wait, does this... Because, you know, a lot of people, like, especially when I try to tell them to get into Sakamoto Days, they're just like, you know, it doesn't really just have a power system. And I've always been like, you're right. But, like, kind of, sort of. But I guess Sakamoto Days does just have a power system. Psychics are just a thing. And once again, I always point this out. Legally speaking, while the physical feats of many characters are genuinely humanly impossible, technically, no one's shown powers except for Carolina Reaper, arguably Club Jam, and Shin. Everyone else's stuff is kind of... I mean, I guess there was that one assassin who had, like, stuff stored in their body, but you could technically do that. But everyone else is kind of just, oh, I wield this type of weapon in this way. And I guess Nakamo's ability seems magical, but I'm assuming there's some sort of thing he does. I can assume that a person could do that if they tried hard enough. But with Shin, he just has superpowers. With Carolina Reaper, I think there are people who technically can breathe fire. It's like some weird process. Like, I've seen people blow out flames, but that's technically some sort of trick. So maybe technically you could do that. And hypnosis is technically real, from what I've heard. But Shin kind of just has superpowers, and I guess there are more people like Shin. I wanted to, but it all happened too fast. I couldn't find the right timing. In other words, you could learn to use it better. Doris! Eisuke? Duh! I mean, you're right, though. Let's see. A time like this. Why am I'm giving Shin too deep a voice. I kind of need to give him the protagonist voice back. I don't know. I'm so used to voicing a lot of the characters recently that have been introduced in a lot of the manga I'm reviewing are typically older, and thusly my voice kind of gets locked into certain registers, and I was low-key locked in the lower range, so hold on. At times like this, I wish I had an ESP mentor. I know someone who might fit the bill. It makes sense. I mean, Kandaka's old enough, and he's been in the assassin world long enough that I'm not shocked he does, but still, dog. Alright. Huh? Kandaka, are you referring to... Oh, I thought that was Shin speaking. I didn't realize... Well, welcome back, bro. I was kind of wondering where you've been. Kandaka, are you referring to... Nagamo? Yo! Actually, there is one other person with ESP in Japan, but they're not an assassin. Okay. You know, they specifically say in Japan. How common is ESP in this universe? What? But they're not an assassin. Not an assassin? Who are they then? Oh, the JA's fortune. So they might as well be an assassin. I mean, not logistically. Like, they don't do it. But, like, you know, no, I guess it's fair. Like, I guess you wouldn't say, like, Amane's grandfather is an assassin just because he works for the JA. He's a janitor. Interesting, though. Not an assassin, but in the assassin field. But I guess that makes sense. If you have extracurricular powers, the assassin world, and specifically the JA, which is all about consolidating and controlling power, would very likely be like, oh, you have unique abilities beyond human understanding? I mean, I got something for you to do. Let's see. The JA's fortune teller. Fortune teller? Sounds sus. That is the first incorporation of modern slang in manga that genuinely feels like this is something Heisuke would say. I see great fortune in you. They're no ordinary fortune teller. Their accuracy is 100%. 80% of the JA's important decisions go through them. Why didn't they add... Okay, let's see. I'm going to read through before I start asking the obvious questions. One time, a group of renegade assassins plotted to kill them. But the day before the attack, they all died of food poisoning from oysters. They can walk the front lines of battle without a single bullet hitting them. Whoa. Seriously? Is this for real? I've never eaten an oyster. I think yeah, I've eaten it. I've eaten oysters. I was trying to think, have I? Yeah. And of course, that's what Heisuke focuses on. Only a select few in the JA know of their existence. It's top secret. I don't want people thinking they have to defend them. Depend on some fortune telling for success. Okay. I'm gonna still wait. I'm gonna wait a little bit more. The obvious questions, they're like, They're knocking on the door. Let's see. Maybe they could teach me how to use my ESP better. Where's this fortune teller? Oh, you want to meet them? No, duh. But, okay. Fortune teller. Why is X still a thing? How have any of your members died? There's got to be some sort of extra. I mean, I guess they just said, well, you know, some people don't want to believe they're relying on some nonsense. But, like, relay that. Say it's from Boss Man. Because clearly this is a top tier thing that Order and above people know of, considering Nagamo and Kandaka both know of them. We don't know where Nagamo's been, though. I love you, Nagamo, but I don't trust you. But still, let people know by drip down, like, hey, whatever you're doing at this mission, don't do this, this, and that. Why? Because I told you to. Like, I'm signing your checks, so listen to me. I don't know, this seems a little bit crazy. Retroactively introducing anyone who can see the future with 100% accuracy into a series that has scenarios that would be heavily helped by anybody with visions of the future, especially of 100% accuracy. It's kind of like why I don't like introducing, and this is in general, but even for my own series, like, typically, a character in the series I'm referring to, by their lineage, should have future-telling powers. They should be able to, like, see or see the future. I refuse to acknowledge that ability. I mentioned it in universe why they don't have it. There's a very specific excuse in the universe that I'm crafting why they cannot use that ability, but I hate it, because it introduces way too many questions. Like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? It's kind of like the same thing with time travel. Like, you ever introduce time travelers into your narrative, and it just becomes a question fest. And as a person who breaks down stuff and always asks questions about his own work and others, yeah, it just convolutes things a bit too much. Let's see how Suzuki Sensei handles this one. It's always, anytime you introduce someone who sees concrete things, especially at 100% accuracy, it gets crazy. But let's see. Let me guess. The fortune teller predicted that Shin was going to come to them eventually. Let's take a look. JAA Assassin Support Center. Oh, okay. Oh, Nani Daisuke. Welcome to... Why do you look familiar? Something about that design looks familiar. That reminds me of... This specific face reminds me of something from Shin Megami Tensei. I almost want to say Nocturne, but something about that unnerves me. Something about this face in particular. I don't know why. But, welcome to the Assassin Support Center. We're here to help. How can I assist you today? We're turning ourselves in. Whoa, 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 whoa! We're confessing to be involved in the museum terrorist stuff with Taro Sakamoto and a bunch of other stuff. We surrender. Okay. And what stops them from immediately executing you? What? Most sweating? Let's see. Because Kandaka well, maybe Kandaka still does have clearance. And speaking of Kandaka, a lot of people brought up fantastic points that the reason Kandaka may have not been like, or too many questions were asked about him, or his register wasn't removed, is because Asaki's just confident and like doesn't actually fear Kandaka, because since it's implied that they're really, really strong, and that makes sense. Asaki's clearly a confident character, so it doesn't break the narrative that Asaki didn't Emilio bang. Especially considering Yotsumura was still alive enough. So let's see.
Let's see. Sonnies, you're charged with deliberately aiding and abetting various incidents perpetuated by Taro Sakamoto, Shin Asakura, and Hishike Mashimo are hereby sentenced to imprisonment in the JAA jail. Your term is 10 years.
That's it? I mean, because, you know, funnily enough, that does make sense, because Sakamoto didn't really actually do anything. And, like, while Asaki's obviously the chairman and can bring whatever charges he wants, like, they can't get him on execution. Of who? They can't get his kids on execution. Of who? So, I guess it does make sense, legally speaking, that 10 years is still a long time. I say 10 years, like, that's light. 10 years is a very long time, especially in prison. But still, comparatively, I was just thinking with how much the JA wants. Like, they have a bounty on Sakamoto's head worth $1 billion. I was really thinking the kids would get more, but it's still good enough. Oh! Speak of her and she shall appear. You stupid idiot! Wait. Let me get this real quick. You stupid, idiotic, moronic jerks! What are you thinking? What a blemish on the Sakamoto store's reputation. How will I explain this to Al? That's a good question. No, that's the thing. She's not really being included in the plot. Like, Kandaka, can you train her? Let it be revealed that Lou's secretly ordered here this entire time. And, like, have her be trained. Please! Hey, go easy on us. Calm down. We're doing this for a reason, okay? Huh? The fortune teller made a bunch of bad calls regarding X's activities recently, so they threw him in jail.
So they aren't 100% accurate. What do you mean by bad calls?
So you're already contradicting yourself. This is why you don't. This is why you don't even introduce characters of that tier. Let's say, or that of that type. I wouldn't say that tier. Jail, huh? The JA has a jail. Simultaneously, I'm not shocked, but I get why Heisuke would be shocked. They sure do. It's mainly for assassins who violate JA regulation, but they don't want executed. I guess. It's good to keep resources. And once again, like Kandaka mentioned earlier, assassins of JA quality are typically rare. Like, unless you're just a random suit, typically you do have some sort of prowess that would make you useful. Let's say. JA regulations. But locking someone up for just making fortune teller errors. Well, actually, their accuracy was... Wait, I need to slow down and read. I'm sorry. But locking someone up for just making fortune-telling errors. Well, their accuracy was perfect before, so they were suspected in colluding with X. Ooh, that could be something, but how? I mean, I guess they have free reign. So, where's this jail? Beneath the castle. The JA jail. Oh, interesting. Man, that goes to show how deep the JA roots are. I've heard of this before. I forget where exactly it is, but the Okutabi Castle. And I recognize the design of it. I think I do, or at least I recognize the type of design. The JA jail. The JA jail is deep underground below the Okutabi Castle. It's super violent inside, so assassins who aren't tough often get killed the first day. Okay, it's divided in 3 layers, with the most heinous criminals being held the deepest underground. Oh. Like Dante's Inferno. In fact, the prisoners die so frequently from violence that there's nobody that ever finished a sentence and been released. Oh, okay. So it's you. So despite you having a jail sentence, you basically go there and die. And presumably anyone who's out there slaughtering people like crazy inside there has like a life sentence. So that's why they can never serve out their sentence. Okay, JA. I see you. Let's see. Sounds perfect. I was getting... Wait, who's saying that? Sounds perfect. I was getting bored of that ordinary training regimen anyway. It'll be good training. To fight for your life? Wait, and Heisuke doesn't even have... Wait, how is he supposed to fight? He doesn't even have his weapon with him. Plus, an opportunity to meet this fortune teller. Sweet, they're finally off my hands. What are you going to tell Sakamoto? He doesn't have to know. I mean, like, right now, Anka has no fear of Sakamoto. Like, I still don't think Sakamoto could be current Kandaka. Or Nagamo. But, that's... So, what's Sakamoto gonna... He's gonna just keep fighting at random? They're gonna have to get out. I wonder how they're gonna get out. Are we gonna have a jailbreak arc? Or are they just gonna, like, serve, and then the fortune teller's gonna be like, I trained you enough, let's get out of here. And they're like, get out of here, and like, oh yeah, we, the 3 of us, have to leave for the plot. Ready? And then they're gonna dip out. But overall, W chapter. Honestly, I thought we were gonna immediately continue on the Sakamoto training stuff, considering, once again, he is our titular character. But cutting over to Shin and them, Shin and crew, is very, very interesting. I kind of wish we got to see more training, but that's the thing. With Kandaka specifically, as he mentions, he's just not really a good person to train him. And for Heisuke, I ultimately believe he would have been best trained serving with or learning with Kamihate. Kamihate? I'm sorry. I don't want to say their name. Now I'm concerned and I'm saying that one wrong too. I think it would have been best training under the Order guy, who's supposedly the best sniper in verse, and that's Heisuke's whole thing. So I do feel bad for Broski. I feel like he was put in a horrid scenario. Unless he ended up somehow sneaking in as Splagooter, I have no idea how he's going to survive or get shrunk from this training. Shin should have just gone alone. But I get and I respect Kandaka being like, I still got to pay Nagamo back. I don't want to deal with you. Deuces. So overall, a very W chapter. However, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave jail time. Leave jail time in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit the notifications. Wait, I need to stop speaking so fast. Make sure to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little little, and it is very little, notification bell, so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month to get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the live reactions to every other series I review, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do happen to have a Ko-Fi link down below where you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Sarah, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, Brandon Payne, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, Igneal Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $7 members: Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, Zombie Hunter, and Austin Wimberly. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members: Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 patrons: Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami.
And I'd like to give the craziest, juiciest, most next-level, quadruple, sloppy, toppy, next-level, superhuman, in beyond this world, kidney heaven thank you to our $100 patron, or That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.